I used to think I was bad at sticking to workout plans. It turns out I was just really good at designing things that I wouldn't follow. Here's what I mean. Every time I would start a new routine, I would be pumped, motivated, and I would wake up at 5 a.m. before work, and I would actually do it for a week or two. But after that, the motivation fades. Life would happen, I would sleep through the alarm, then the next, and eventually I would just stop. And I would feel like garbage about it, like I was lazy, weak, not disciplined enough. But here's what I finally figured out after years of this pattern. The problem wasn't me. The problem was that I kept designing plans for the person I wanted to be, not the person I actually was. I was designing for motivated me, that person who actually existed only for 3 days probably. But I needed to design for unmotivated, the version who is here for the rest of 362 days, the version who is actually need to stick to that plan. So let me walk you through what changed. When you're motivated, everything feels possible. You can crush those early workouts at 6 a.m. You can meal prep on Sundays. You can show up 5 times a week. You are ambitious, motivated, pumped, ready to rearrange your entire life around this new routine. But motivation is temporary. It's like planning a road trip during a sugar rush. You assume that you will feel energized for the whole trip you want. And when your motivation crashes, which will, you will left with a routine that was designed for the motivated you, not for the person who you are actually now. That motivated person doesn't exist anymore. You left with a routine that's too long, too frequent, too convenient for the life you were living. Therefore, your unmotivated self looks at the routine and they're like, no way, I quit. So here's what you should be asking. Not what's the best workout routine, but what's the routine I can stick to when I'm tired, busy, and completely unmotivated? Because consistency beats intensity every time. A mediocre workout you do 3 times a week for the rest of the year is much better and beats every time the perfect routine you do only for 2 weeks. So how do you design for your unmotivated self? 3 things. Most people do this backwards. They find a routine they like, then try to bend the whole life around it. They find a plan that calls for 5 workouts a week, they reschedule meetings, they start waking up early, they are neglecting their family. But what if you flip it? What if you look at your actual life first? The life with kids, work, meetings, groceries, bedtimes, and ask yourself, where does workout fit in my life? Maybe it's 3 days, not 5. Maybe it's 20 minutes, not an hour. Maybe it's home workout with dumbbells, not a gym that's 20 minutes right away. I'm not saying you can't make adjustments to your schedule, but the more friction you build up during the process, the easier it gets to skip. Therefore, you want to make showing up as brain dead simple as possible, because when you're unmotivated, convenience is the only thing that saves you. When you are motivated, you want to go all in. 50 push-ups a day, an hour-long workout, beast mode. But your unmotivated self sees that and thinks, I would rather die. So here's what worked for me. I started with workouts so short that it almost felt pointless. 10 minutes, sometimes less. I would literally tell myself, do 3 sets or something, anything, and you're all done. And you know what happened? I actually did it. Not because it was impressive, but because it was so easy that on my worst days, I couldn't talk myself out of it. And here's the thing that nobody tells you about starting small. Once you're already moving, it's way easier to keep going. Some days I would finish those 3 sets and I would think, okay, let's do another set. But even on the days I didn't feel like it, I still showed up. I still kept the habit alive. Therefore, the workout became something I did, not something I breathed. And over time, those small workouts built up to something real. Not because I white-knuckled through motivation, but because I did something that my unmotivated self can actually tolerate. I used to think the best workouts were that destroyed me, the one that left me gasping, sore, questioning my life choices. I thought that's what real training looked like. But you know what that version of me did? Quit. Every time. Because I was confusing effectiveness with suffering. If you hate your workout, you won't do it, no matter how effective that workout plan is. Therefore, the best workout tip for you is the one that you will actually show up for. And that means choosing movements you don't despise, picking a schedule that doesn't wreck your life, giving yourself permission to take a rest day when your body is screaming for one. This isn't about being soft, it's about being smart. Because the person who shows up for a moderate workout routine 3 times a week for 10 years will be in better shape, condition and health than the person who skips after 3 weeks with a brutal plan. So here is the shift. Stop designing workouts for the version of you that exists in your head. The superhuman who wakes up energized and ready to conquer the world. Designed for the real version. The one who is tired on Tuesday, who has a stressful job, a kid who needs help with his homework, for the version who is sometimes just tired, wants to sit on the couch and watch TV. Designed for that person. Make it convenient, make it small, make it tolerable. Because that's the version who needs to show up tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. If you can design something that version can actually stick to, you will not need motivation anymore, you will just have a habit. Build your workouts for unmotivated self, and your future self will actually show up.